testing. Good morning, Mr. Anderson. How are you? Mr. Anderson, can you hear me? Good good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Great.
It's good to hear from you.
You too. You guys doing okay down there?
Yes, we are. We're hanging in there.
Good, good.
How are things with you? Busy?
Yes.
I can
Yeah, we
imagine.
we had a very busy year with all disaster loans, stuff like that. And our fiscal year ended September 30th, but we still had a very busy October as well.
Wow, I can just
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah, I'm familiar with how busy you guys must have been with the EIDL stuff and all of that stuff because I had been doing business consulting here for a while, and I was getting a lot of requests for assistance with those things, not just here in South Carolina, but with people I knew in Georgia.
Great.
And I just actually got a government contract with the state of South Carolina
Great.
doing some stuff too. So, but I imagine you guys are extra busy doing
Yeah, yeah.
doing good work for good people.
Yeah, we trying. So are you registered with the SBA also as a woman owned and veteran owned business, all that too?
No, I said I was going to do that in 2021. I actually started the process, but I just didn't finish it. Initially, I wasn't really focused on developing this business very much.
Mm-hmm.
I was really focused on helping other people, and that's what I was doing. Because I had started a community development association here in the town of Andrews
Mm-hmm.
and was just doing a lot of work for other people. And so it's just now, like say maybe in the last 6 months, that I've really started to like really focus on my own business. And then since I've done it, things have just grown really fast. So
Great, great.
so since I don't know if you recall when I went through the Boots to Business program at Fort Jackson. I was retiring. I'm a retired JAG, but my specialty was government contracts and fiscal law. So I
Mm-hmm.
was teaching people how to do that stuff here and getting them registered in SAM and helping them to get proposals together and stuff. But I wasn't really focused on doing any of it for myself. And so I just submitted for a contract on the 26th of October, and the award came out on the 31st.
That's great. But like I said, but since you're getting contracts now, well, you might as well go ahead and register in SAMS everything as well.
Well, I am. I've been
Yeah.
registered for at least a year. I just wasn't
Hmm.
actively pursuing it. So
Yeah.
I mainly was doing it to show other people how to do it.
Okay.
So I'm registered in those systems, and I'm a state vendor and all of that stuff. The Department of Commerce, someone from the Department of Commerce reached out to me this week, and I just gotten registered on their site, and I think that information will be available next week. And so I said I would go ahead and do my small business certifications because I'm a disabled veteran. I'm 100%
Hmm.
disabled, woman owned,
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. So
So you can have 5 or 6 different certifications.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and pursue them this year. Well, maybe not at the end of this year, maybe at the beginning of next year. I'll go ahead and
Next
get all my
year.
stuff in.
Okay. Good. 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 Okay.
I think we should have about 10 people, and 10 or 12 people maybe
Okay.
who will be popping in. And I know everybody's excited to hear all of the good stuff that you have for them. And I have this. This was just the. I don't know if can you see my screen? You should be able to see my screen.
Yes.
And so when you're ready for your slides, I'll just put the slides up and I'll just be your assistant. I'll go on mute and let you take over.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Good to see you again, though.
You too. You too. Have to make another trip down there and try that chicken restaurant you guys are telling me about down there.
Oh, Super Chick. Well, Super Chick has some competition here now. We've
Oh,
been able
really?
to, yeah, we've been able to get a little bit of growth here, and so there's uh, well, for one, some we've gotten before. I think there was just a Burger King and a Subway here. We just got a Burger King, and We, been able to get some small businesses to start here, including some restaurants. And
Good.
so now we have a couple of more local restaurants and one other chicken place here. So Super Chick is not only the game in town anymore, even though everyone always loves Super Chick. So
Okay, good. That's good. That's good growth.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we're working on it. We're working on it. We have a diner that's opening up here right in time for the holidays. So
Oh,
they,
that sounds good.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they've been doing renovation in there. So it's going to be like a bakery slash diner.
So that's great. Great. So yeah, you guys just start the next year off pretty good.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a Dollar Tree just opened in August here. So there was already like a Dollar General and stuff like that here.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten another one of those that open on the other side of town. Considering Andrews is only about 7 square miles, that's
Yeah.
that's not bad. And then
That's not bad at all.
a Dollar
Yeah.
Tree just moved in, and so we've got an AutoZone here um about a year and a half ago. So people are starting to
To notice Andrews. That's great.
notice.
That's good. Good.
Yeah, my husband was elected to a second term, so we're into the first year of the second term now.
Great. Outstanding. He's done a great job for his hometown.
Yeah,
You can have
yeah,
people moving back down there.
yeah. We actually do have some young folks who went away to college and who are now returning. So yeah, good
That's
stuff.
outstanding. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that was the overall objective, to grow the town and make it a place that people want to be. So that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Especially in just a short time. That's really good information. Good job that you guys are doing.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
How are the fellas doing? The ones I know one of them. I can't remember his name. Was it Clarence? I can't remember.
Well, one of the for the our coworkers.
Yeah, I remember he taught one of the classes, and he was going to be retiring that
Well,
year.
we
I
have
think
Floyd. We have Floyd that
Floyd.
retired.
Floyd. That's what it
Yeah, he
was.
did. He did retire. He retired probably like 4 years ago. If I saw him on Tuesday, we hung out a little bit on Tuesday, and we have another guy named Carl Faison. Carl does
I
contracting
remember
also.
him. I
Yeah,
remember him.
yeah. Carl's still on. He's still on board. So yeah, we have a couple new people. We have three new females, women. Well, they've been a couple years. We have one that started last year. She's an Air Force veteran, and she worked at Shaw at one point. I think she's working in Florida. And she joined us in March, about a week before COVID started. So
Okay.
we have never all been in the office together with her. And she come in, every now and then we go to the office and she'll be there, something like that. Mostly work from home with her. Then we have Angela Brewer. Angela is an Army veteran. She's a contract officer also on that side of the house. And then we have Savannah Wilburn joined us about 3 years ago. Savannah is an economic development and a lender person, and she's a Air Force veteran spouse.
Oh, I need to meet her for the whole economic development piece to see what programs they might have that we can incorporate on this area.
Hmm. Yeah, and we have her and Susan Shaves on that side. But yeah, we're definitely. I think on the end of our slide, I have Savannah's contact information on the last slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I reach out to them.
Yeah, and some other good news. Recently, we opened two women's business centers in South Carolina. It actually closed about 2 years ago, but we had them reopened. Well, we have one in Columbia now and one in Greenville. So they do the same thing like the Small Business Development Center and SCORE, like mentoring people in business. The primary audience is female, so I'll talk about that also. And I'll tell them about the locations and how to get in contact with them also.
Okay. Well, if you guys are ever looking for a satellite site, because there's a lot of road between Columbia
Yes.
and Greenville,
Yeah.
up in this area. We
Yeah.
definitely we have a space that you can
Okay.
utilize.
Okay.
And we have people like myself who would volunteer and do hours.
Well,
So
that's good. So what we can probably do is have you contact it maybe because one of the centers is at Benedict, and your husband is a Benedict alumni.
he
And so
is.
yeah, the one of the business centers is Benedict. So maybe we could put you guys in contact with them, and you especially with your background, they may have you as a counselor, and you can do it maybe down there somewhere. So
And
we'll have
and
someone in that area.
In fact, aren't you guys? Are you an Omega? If I
Yeah.
okay, I thought you guys were frat brothers. I thought I
Mm-hmm.
recalled that. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Hmm. So we got a few more minutes before we get started.
Yeah. Hey Keisha, I don't know if Keisha, can you hear me? I think you're on mute, but I see that you've joined.
Hey, hey, I can hear you. I just unmuted it. I just keep it mute because I never know what's going to pop up in my background.
Understandable. Understandable. So we're just waiting. I had about 10 people that I confirmed with all of them in the last 24 hours. And so I do expect that they will be joining us. So we're just going to wait for a few more minutes. But okay, Jonathan just joined. I'm going to admit him. Hey, Jonathan. I don't know. Well, he's on mute, so, but I can tell that he's joined the session. If anyone has any trouble seeing my screen right now, please let me know. We're waiting on a few more people. There should be at least 10 to 12 people on this session today. Um, and Mr. Um, Anderson is already on the session. And when everybody's on, I will allow him to introduce himself and we'll get started. But if you cannot see my screen, let me know because the slides that were sent to the group are going to be up on the screen. But just in case someone was having to dial in from, some location and was not able to participate on video today, I wanted to make sure that they could follow along on the slides. Hey, Mr. Tutu. Oh, you know what I just realized? So far, wait, Mr. Tutu is joining. For some reason. Mr. Tutu, can you hear me? Mr. Tutu. So I don't know if his audio is connected because it does not show that his audio is connected. But I'm hoping that he can hear me. But so far, Mr. Anderson, everyone that's on is a veteran.
Great. Great. That's
There's
good
someone
news.
else joining now who I don't recognize named Alvin. So let me admit this person. Alvin? There's someone there's someone named Alvin on. Alvin?
Yes, Mrs. McClary.
Hi, Alvin.
Hi.
Who is Alvin?
That's my first name.
Oh, okay. I did not recognize you. Okay, that's Tony. All right. So everyone except I think Tony right now who's on is a veteran. Tony is a veteran business owner though. He's not a US veteran, but he is a veteran business owner.
Great.
And so I think I have about 5 or 6 more people that I'm waiting on and everyone seems to be connecting and those people I think I sent a reminder to this morning as well and still got an affirmative that they were going to be participating, so we won't wait too much longer. I'm going to give them because it's not quite 11, so I'm going to give them until about 11:05 before.
That's fine.
Okay, there's Miss Dorsey. Miss Dorsey, are you on? Can you hear us and can you see the screen? I think her audio and video may still be connecting, but she has been added. And it looks like Ms. Dorsey is participating via phone. So for those folks who are participating via phone, you should have received the slides so that you can follow along with today's presentation. And for those of you who are able to see the screen, we will be putting the slides up on the screen. So you will be able to follow along on the screen as well. But everyone should have also received the slides. So we're just waiting until about 11:05. I think most of the people who RSVP'd are in, but I think I have a few more people who are outstanding. So we will be starting at 11:05. To the folks who just joined, LaDonna Brown and Dennis, can you guys see the screen and do you have good audio?
Yes, Dennis has good audio and I can see the screen as well. Thank you.
Okay. LaDonna? LaDonna, I know you're at work. I know you told me you're at work. I just want to make, okay. For everyone on, I've already said this already, but you should have received the slides that we're going to use today. You should have received them in an email. If you did not receive the slides, then kindly send me an email after this presentation and I'll make sure you receive them. But I know that there are some people who would not have access to the video today. So you should be able to follow along on the slides that were provided to you, but they will be shared on the screen. We're going to wait until 11:05. I think I have a couple of more people who I haven't seen sign in yet who are supposed to be on today. So we're going to give them about 2 more minutes. And then to be respectful of Mr. Anderson's time, we're going to go ahead and start.
All right, Ms. McClary, can we get the slides up, please? Okay, can we go to the first slide?
But before we start, Mr. Anderson, would you mind introducing yourself to the group?
Okay, great. Yeah, I think the first slide has my name and stuff on it, so I was going to go to that. The second one, the next one to this one. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Frank Anderson. I'm a lender relations specialist with the United States Small Business Administration. Lender relations means SBA has a loan guarantee program. We're going to get into that information. Have what we do several things, but part of the lending side of it, I deal with our lending institutions. I myself am a former banker. I'm an Army veteran, Desert Storm veteran, a U.S. Army paratrooper. Spent about 20 plus years in financial services. I've worked for mortgage companies, where I've done mortgage underwriting. I was assistant vice president at Bank of America for 12 years. Prior to coming to the SBA, at Bank of America, I did small business lending. I'm in risk management. So I've done small business loans for customers all over the country. So that's my background there. So we're going to get started today. We're going to talk about this class called the SBA resources. So I'm going to cover all the programs that the SBA has for financing. And I'll tell you what the SBA does, and how we have available resources that can assist you in your community as well. All right, thank you. And have the next one. Okay. All right, the SBA started as an agency in 1953. Our main purpose is to help small businesses to start, to grow, expand, and recover. So we are resource partners. Also, our loan programs help you start up. We help you grow and expand your businesses. We can also help you export your product and services overseas and recover. Now, what we mean by recover in times like this, when we have most cases be natural disasters like earthquakes, hurricanes, and things like that. But now we're dealing with COVID-19. So we have programs in place that assist communities and small businesses to recover when we have incidents like such as we are presently experiencing with the COVID-19. Next one, please. All right. One of my favorite movies is The Godfather. Many of you probably seen The Godfather. It's a movie that's been around about nearly 50 years now. And one part of my favorite part about The Godfather, he likes to have bad news up front. So in my office, I get phone calls all the time, people wanting free money, people wanting grants. So I'm gonna give you the bad news on that part up front. We don't have any grants, and we don't do direct loans. The only time the SBA does direct loans is for disaster. Like presently, we have our economic injury disaster loan. You may go to our website and apply for that loan directly through the SBA. Under normal circumstances or our other loan programs, you cannot apply directly through the SBA for those loans. Now, as far as grants, most grants go to nonprofit businesses or businesses related to environmental, IT, or something related to education. Now, if you're looking for a grant, my suggestion to you is to go to grant.gov, which is a federal website. You may see what they have out there, but in most cases, the SBA does not offer direct grants or grants at any time. Now, most of you may just recall the state of South Carolina just had a SC Cares Act grant. That grant application date expired on November the 1st. I hope that many of you were able to take advantage of that. The grant was offering $2,500 up to $25,000 for participating small businesses within the state of South Carolina. Okay, thank you. All right, programs and services. The SBA offers training and counseling, access to capital, and government contracting. Our training and counseling is done primarily through our resource partners. We have what's called SCORE, which is Service Corps of Retired Executives. And what they are, they're they're current and former small business owners who volunteer their time to assist and mentor small businesses. And one of the advantages of SCORE, maybe a business that you're currently in or considering to go into, a SCORE counselor may have the direct industry experience or been in that same business. Now, SCORE, they're volunteers. They don't get paid for their time. So actually, they do not charge you for helping you. Only time there may be a charge for SCORE if you attend their workshops. And those workshops are inexpensive. And the purpose of that is so they can create material and things that's needed for the class. We also have what's called the Small Business Development Center. They are organizations that are affiliated with universities within the state of South Carolina. They're affiliated with the University of South Carolina, Clemson University, Winthrop University, Coastal Carolina University, Coastal Carolina, and also South Carolina State University. So I'll tell you some more information about them as well. They do the same thing as SCORE, mentoring, training, and counseling, and they're free also. On time to meet charges as well as when they have a program also or a class, a workshop. SCORE, the Small Business Development Center, can also assist you in putting a loan package together. Statistics show that a business that have received training or counseling from SCORE or Small Business Development Center prior to seeking financing is more likely to get approved. Now, we also have something called the WBC, Women's Business Center. The Women's Business Center does the same thing as SCORE and the Small Business Development Center. However, their primary audience is women. Women probably make up the most of the population in South Carolina and our nation as well. And we have a vigorous small business community of women-owned business in South Carolina. So we have 2 Women's Business Center located in the state of South Carolina. I'll show you on our upcoming slide about that. We also have something called a Veteran Business Outreach Center, which is called VBOC. VBOC, the local one that we have that serves the state of South Carolina is actually located in Georgia. They cover the state of Georgia and South Carolina. If you've ever attended what was called a Boots of Business class that we have for veterans who are transitioning out of the military, the VBOC, we run the program out of my office, and the VBOC assists us with doing those classes as well. So again, resource partners, SCORE, Small Business Development Center, WBC, Women's Business Center, and VBOC are primary resource partners that are funded by the SBA. As far as access to capital, now that's my side of the house. Access to capital is the loan programs that the SBA has. We guarantee loans to lenders, and that in terms, they have a secured loan. And that way they can say yes to you, a small business owner. And I will tell you how those securities work, how to apply for loans, what you can do with SBA loans, and the maximum loan amount, and give you more information regarding SBA loans coming up in the within the presentation. Another step the SBA has is government contracting. We allow small businesses to do business with the federal government through the SBA. Through the Small Business Administration, you can certify. You can have a certification as a veteran-owned business, a service-disabled veteran-owned business. If you are a veteran with a 0% rating from the VA, you are considered a service-disabled veteran, so you can have that certification as well. Woman-owned business, there's certifications called economic disadvantaged woman-owned small business as well. It's called EDWOSB. And what that means is that you are a woman in a field that's dominated by men, such as construction, IT, engineering. If your field that you're in is mostly male dominated, you can have a certification for EDWOSB as well. There's something called a hub zone, historically underutilized business zones, and that's set up for certifications as well. You can go to the hub zone website and look for locations. And what that are, the government certifies certain communities could be rural or either urban areas where there's low small business activity. So the federal government designate those areas as hub zones. So you can get a certification to do business in the hub zones. And one of the requirements of a hub zone is the owner does not have to reside in the hub zone. However, 36% of the owner's employees must reside in the hub zone. And the purpose of that is to encourage small business growth in those communities. So we have, again, certification, and also another thing called the 8A program. The 8A program is one that we hear mostly about in the community. We get a lot of inquiries regarding 8A program. Now, the 8A program, you have to be in business at least 2 years first before applying for it. You actually apply for it through the SBA, and then they may approve you. The 8A program is a 9-year program. It gives you a preference if you're going to apply for a federal contract. Now, at the end of the 9 year, you graduate from the program, you're no longer represented in the program. Now, it's a great benefit. We have many, we have probably a couple dozen 8A firms in South Carolina right now. And then they apply for contracts. I know one story, a gentleman was in Charleston. He was a Native American. He's a Navy veteran, and in fact, he wasn't enlisted. Now, he had a cybersecurity business. A few years ago, he actually was awarded a $150 million contract to conduct cybersecurity for the federal government. And my understanding, about 2 years ago, he actually sold the business for about $300 million. Now, so I'll tell you again, you can contact our office, you contact our business opportunity specialist for the certification process. We help you do those things free of charge. There's no cost to apply for certification with the federal government through the SBA. So if you contact our office, I'll give you the number for that. And we have business opportunity specialists, which are contact officers. They can assist you with that, that process. Next slide, please. All right. Now, here are the information for the resource partners in your area. First of all, we're covering the U.S. Small Business Administration District Office. The South Carolina District Office located downtown Columbia. Phone number is 803-765-8655. We also have a North Charleston office, and the phone number is there, 843-225, I think 7430. And we have SCORE accounts, as I mentioned, Service Corps of Retired Executives. Nearest to Andrews will be the Grand Strand chapter. Their phone number is 843-928-1079. And their email address, right, their website is grandstrand.score.org. As the Small Business Development Center, the closest one that we have to Andrews would be in Myrtle Beach. They're actually located on the campus of Coastal Carolina University. Phone number 843-349-5070. And the website is coastal.edu/SBDC. And I mentioned the women's business centers. Again, their primary audience is women. They have their well-mentored men as well. We have 2 new ones located in South Carolina. We have one in Columbia, located on campus of Benedict College. Phone number 803-705-4641. We also have one located in Greenville. The one in Greenville is housed at Community Works, which is a small business lender in Greenville area. And their phone number is 864-235-6331. All right. So you may want to take a picture of that. And I think Ms. McClary has sent out the slide to you guys so you have the contact information for your local SBA resource partner that can assist you in your small business. As I mentioned, the resource partners can assist you primarily free of charge. Only time they may charge is when they have a workshop or something like that and just for class material. However, again, they're award-winning. They're a great service, and most businesses do much better after getting some type of assistance from our resource partners. Okay. Next slide, please.
And if you're not in this area, you can find information to your local SBA's office and Small Business Development Center by just going to Google and searching for it. And if you were in our group last month, we actually had our Regional Small Business Development Center give a presentation that talked about services. And so you are probably already familiar with them and probably have already sought them out.
Okay. All right. So the companies that we have listed here, do any of them look familiar to you guys? Have you seen any of them? Do you recognize any of them? Have you used any of their products? So if so, why do we think we have these companies listed on our presentation today? Well, I will tell you, each one of these companies here all started out small, all started out with assistance from the Small Business Administration. They could have gotten training and counseling from our resource partners. They could have got finance from the SBA guarantee loan as well. And a couple of these businesses are also started by veterans. Nike was started by a veteran. Federal Express was started by a veteran. Also, I believe Winnebago was started by veterans. And I like to say, today, all these companies are multinational and multi-billion-dollar companies. So you can start right now, small, just your imagination and getting started. But like I said, with hard work and assistance from the SBA, your business can grow to multinational, multi-billion-dollar company as well. And I always like to throw out as well, if you get this point right here, I don't mind working for you. I just need about $500,000 per year. If I work for you about 4 years, I'll probably be gone. But that's good for me and good for you as well. Thank you. All right, next one, please. All right, financing your business here. SBA Financial Assistance Program can help you start and grow your business. Again, if you've been in business for less than 2 years, you are considered a startup business. Now, there are some financial institutions out there, they won't touch you if you've been in business for less than 2 years. However, with the SBA guarantee, then they may be willing to take that risk. Again, with our resource part, we can help you grow your business also. If you may have seen on my title, one of my titles is International Trade Officer. So we have programs in place that can assist you to export your product and services overseas to foreign countries also. And we talked about recovering from disasters. That's when our programs help the communities to recover from disasters, usually which are natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, things like that nature. However, right now we're dealing with a pandemic of COVID-19. So we're assisting communities and small businesses to recover from those things at this time. And again, the SBA is primarily a guarantor of the loans. Loans are made through private and other financial institutions. Next slide, please. All right, there are normally three parties involved in an SBA transaction. There's a small business owner, there's a lender, and the small business administration. All right. Next, please. All right, here are two of our large primary programs. One is called the 7A program, the other is called a 504 program. I'm going to show you in the upcoming slide, there are multiple programs that fall under the 7A. All the loans are done through commercial banks and non-bank financial institutions. And that's why we don't use the term bank, we use the term lender, because we have traditional lenders and non-traditional lenders as well that participate in our program. Next, please. All right, the maximum loan amount for an SBA guarantee loan is $5 million. Now, here's something now. A lender is only going to lend to you where they can verify that you can pay back. Now, I get a lot of calls from people all around the state, even outside of our state. So I get a call from a lady one day, she calls and said, I want to apply for a small business loan. Okay, great, ma'am, what do you want to do? And I asked her, ma'am, how much money do you want to borrow? She said, $5 million, okay? I said, well, ma'am, where did you come up with that number? She said, it's listed on your website. I said, you're right. Okay, here's the deal about that. Let me give you some qualifications. Again, first of all, the lender only going to lend to you where they verify that you can afford to pay back, okay? There's no such thing as 100% financing in small business. You must put what we call equity injection. You're going to have to invest between 10 and 30% into the project that you want. So if she wants a $5 million loan, she needs to have between $500,000 and $1.5 million in the bank to invest in her business. So I asked her, ma'am, do you have $1.5 million? I don't have that. Do you have $1 million, which is 20%? I don't have that. Well, 10% of $5 million is $500,000. Do you have that? I don't have that. Okay, well, we're not talking about a $5 million loan. So we have to be realistic. And so same time for you as well, when you want to seek financing for a small business, you have to be realistic. If you're not being realistic, you'll be wasting your time and the time of your lender, okay? All right, this is how loan guarantee program work out. As I mentioned, we guarantee loans. So the maximum loan amount that we guarantee is 85%. So we guarantee the maximum amount of guarantee is $3,750,000. So if you're lucky to get a $5 million loan, $3,750,000 is what we're going to guarantee. How it works. For loans that are $150,000 and less, we guarantee 85% of that to the lender. In case you default on that loan, you don't pay, we guarantee 85% of that. Now, however, before they come back to the SBA for the guarantee, they have to go after the borrower for everything the borrower has, okay? All right, for loans that are above 150, we only guarantee 75% of that. So 75% of the $5 million is $3,750,000. Now also, like I was talking about equity injection. For a small business loan, you have to invest between 10 and 30%, and you must have some collateral to back it up as well. The collateral doesn't have to cover the full loan amount, but it should cover a significant loan amount. So if you don't have, again, 10, 30% of what you're looking for and some types of collateral, you back your loan up, you may need some other additional help. Now, for loans that are $25,000 and less, the SBA does not require collateral. However, if your lender asks for collateral and your lender requires collateral for that, then the collateral is required, okay? Next slide, please. All right, our loans, as I mentioned, our loans are not free. The SBA charges a fee, which is a percentage point for our loans. And I'm going to explain to you how the percentage point works. Okay, if you got an SBA loan that's less than 1 year term, then they will charge you a quarter basis point or quarter point for that, okay? You have a loan that's over 1 year, up to $150,000, we charge 2%. So if you got a $100,000 loan for 5 years, the fee that you'll pay the SBA will be $2,000, okay? For loans that are up to $700,000, the fee is 3%. For loans that are over $700,000, the fee is 3.5%. For loans that are over $1 million, the fee is 3.75% over the $1 million fee. Now, on the bottom of the slide, we mentioned monthly ongoing servicing fee. That's the fee that the lender pays each month to the SBA. That fee is actually 55 basis points. So it's like 0.55% of the outstanding amount. And the lender pays that fee to the SBA to participate in the program, and they pay that fee based on the outstanding loan amount that the borrower has in their portfolio. All right? Do you have any questions so far? Okay, if no questions, let's go on to the next slide, please. Okay, the SBA 7A loan can be used to acquire land. So you want to purchase large tracts of land, you plan to develop that land, you can do that. Construction and renovation, the SBA loan can be used for that as well. If you're buying machinery and equipment, the SBA loan can be used for that. If you're buying furniture and fixtures for your small business, SBA loan can be used for that. If you want to buy an existing business, you can use the SBA loan for that as well. For working capital, you can use for that. For inventory, you buy inventory for your business. Your business has a seasonal line of credit. SBA loan can be used for that. If you are refinancing existing debt that your small business currently has, an SBA loan can be used for all of these purposes right here. So one of the future upcoming slides, we're going to ask about the purpose of the funding. If the purpose of you're requesting a loan, one of these purposes right here, likely to be approved for that purpose. Okay. The next slide, please. Now, the SBA loans are more attractive than what we call a conventional loan. A conventional loan is a loan that the bank does themselves, okay? And when you first go to a bank to apply for small business loan, they can't just automatically put you into an SBA product. They have to consider doing a regular loan for you first, a conventional loan. And for some reason, they say, you don't meet the requirements for our conventional loan, then next, if they're participating in the SBA guarantee loan program, then they'll give you all the SBA documentation and they will approve your SBA loans based on SBA qualifications. Now, what separates our loan for conventional loans, as I mentioned, our terms are more attractive. Now, for an SBA guaranteed loans, our working capital loans up to 10 years. What that means, if you're just borrowing capital, you're buying access to capital, working capital, you're borrowing money, when you use that money, we allow you 10 years to use that money. On a conventional bank loan, you may get 4 to 5 years or 4 to 6 years, something like that. So we have longer terms. So our longer terms, which means you have access to the money a longer period of time. And also, it means you're probably likely going to have a lower monthly bill regarding that loan, okay? We cover up to 10 years for equipment. A bank may go to 5 to 7 years for equipment. So if you're buying a truck or a piece of equipment or a vehicle, something for your business, we allow for 10 years of financing for that. We also cover up to 25 years of fixed asset. What I mean by fixed assets are real estate. If you're buying property, land, or building, you allow for 25 years. And so that's pretty significant. Now, if you got a standard 7A loan, the maximum loan amount cannot exceed 2.75% above the prime rate. As of today, the prime rate now is 3.25%, so 3.25%. So if you had a standard 7A loan, max security charge is prime plus 2.75, which equals a rate of 6%. So that rate can be both fixed or variable rate. It's based on you and your lender how to negotiate that rate, either fixed rate or variable rate. Okay, variable rate means it fluctuates. If the prime rate increases or decreases, which is set by the Federal Reserve, then your rate will fluctuate whatever percentage point above the prime rate. If a fixed rate, your rate should be fixed throughout the duration of the loan. Okay. All right, the next slide, please. Okay, here are some of the programs that fall under the standard 7A. There's the standard 7A loan program itself. The max loan amount is $5 million. We have a cap line loan. The max loan amount of that is $5 million. We don't really go into a lot of detail about cap line because we don't get a lot of requests for the cap line program. Okay. Export Express. If you want to export your product overseas, and you want to, we have a loan for that called Export Express. The maximum loan amount for that is $500,000. That loan has a 90% guarantee. We have a loan called the SBA Express. The SBA Express loan requires less documentation than the standard 7A. It only has a maximum guarantee percentage of 50%. We have multiple lenders in our state who offer the SBA Express loan. The maximum loan amount for that loan is $350,000. However, due to COVID-19, the SBA has increased the maximum loan amount for that loan to $1 million. Now, at the end of the year, December 30th, 2020, that amount will probably go back to $350,000. Now, the maximum term for express loan is only 7 years, and the rate can be charged is prime plus 6.5%, which is the highest they can charge you. As I mentioned, right now, the prime rate now is 3.25 and 6.5%. So you're probably looking about 9.75%, most highest rate they can charge you on express loan. Okay. With something called a veteran advantage. If you are individual that's in the military, active duty, currently in the track program, probably within a year of getting out, you can apply for the SBA Veteran Advantage. I'm going to give you the details of that as well. Now, as I mentioned, the SBA charges a fee for all of our loans. However, if you are a veteran and you apply for the Veteran Advantage loan, your fee is waived on loans up to $350,000. Okay. Now the max of the Veteran Advantage loan can go to $5 million as well, but above $350,000, you'll pay the same fee as everyone else. Now the SBA consider loans that are $350,000 and less a part of our SBA small loan programs. We have a loan called the Community Advantage Loan. The maximum loan amount for our Community Advantage Loan is $250,000. We have 2 lenders within the state of South Carolina that offer its Community Advantage. The purpose of the Community Advantage is for rural and even urban communities where there's low economic development going on. The purpose of the loan is to help spur economic development in those communities. So again, the max loan amount for that is $250,000. We have 2 lenders who offer that loan within the state of South Carolina. Next slide, please. Now here are the details of the Veteran Advantage. Now, again, if you're already out of the military, you must have provided a copy of your DD-214 to the lender. You must be at least honorably discharged from the military. I think I've only seen one general discharge that was approved, but in most cases, it needs to be at least an honorable discharge. As I mentioned, if you got the loan under the SBA Express, $350,000 and less, do not pay a fee. If you got the loan above $350,000, then you pay the normal fee that everyone else pays. Okay. And next slide, please. All right, we talk about you have to be honorably discharged. It applies, you can be a service-disabled veteran, be active duty personnel that's in a TAP program, you can be a reservist or a National Guard member, you can be a current spouse, widow, widower, or service member who either died or who has a service-connected disability. And if you're married to a military personnel, my suggestion too is also provide a copy of your marriage license to make sure that you're currently married to that individual. Okay. Next, do you have any questions regarding the Veteran Advantage or any of the programs we covered so far? I know we have some veterans on the line.
I don't have a question about the Veteran Advantage, but you spoke a couple of slides back. You spoke of a SBA that could be utilized for purchasing real estate.
Now, what type of real estate? Like, if you're buying a commercial building, you can do that. As far as like people want to be real estate investors, we don't allow that. I tell people, if you want to be a real estate investor, you kind of need to have your own money.
Okay.
Like, yeah, because the thing about real estate, like when the economy crashed in 2007, 2008, the banks already own that mortgage, so the bank's not looking to get more mortgages. So, like I said, if you want to be a real estate investor, you kind of need to save your own money. However, now you want to do property management, you can possibly get loans. You can get loans to be a person who manages property, but you want to flip properties, you need your own money for that. Okay.
Actually, it was more or less an investment property.
Well, like, do you want to invest in? You're going to maintain them and rent them out?
Yes.
Again, that's kind of slippery. Again, like you need some of your own money for that.
Okay.
In particular, if you're buying, like I said, to be an underwriter. So if you're buying property to invest in most cases, you probably need about 20% of that program. But I would say also look into the HUD. HUD has some programs. I can't remember the name of the program right now, but HUD does have some programs that help to purchase and restore some property. So look into contact HUD, look into some things, or FHA, look at some programs that they have for that.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Next one, please. All right, our 504 program. Now, if you're buying, again, like someone, maybe you're going to purchase a franchise, right? So you got to construct a building. One loan I referred to you will be the 504 loan. It's a fixed rate loan up to 25 years on real estate. There are three parties involved. With this loan here, at a minimum, the borrower contributes 10%. We have what's called a community, what's called Certified Development Corporation. They'll put in 40%, which is guaranteed by the SBA, and the third party lender will put in the remaining 50%. So again, the three parties involved there. So if you got a $100,000 loan, so say you got you're building a commercial building, $100,000. The borrower puts in 10%, $10,000. The Certified Development Corporation will put in 40%, $40,000, which will be guaranteed by the SBA. Then a third-party lender will put in $50,000, and they will be in the first lien position. So again, this is a fixed rate loan. Our rate for this loan right now is currently less than 5%. And I'll show you on the next slide, I'll show you the lenders that offer the 504 loan through the state of South Carolina. So next slide, please. Well, this is the fees. We'll skip the fees in the next slide. All right. So in the state of South Carolina, we have Appalachian Development Corporation, which is based in Greenville. They offer the loan statewide. We have Catawba Regional Development Corporation. They're located in Rock Hill area. They offer the loan statewide as well. Certified Development Corporation located in Columbia. They offer the 504 loan statewide as well. And then you have Provident Business Financial Services located in Columbia. They all four of these companies offer the 504 loans statewide. So if you got a commercial project that you're interested in, you can contact one of these four companies right here. We'll contact each one of them, see how they can service you, see if they're willing to help you with the loan program. The 504 loan is a pretty easy loan. It's actually sold back on the secondary market. And so, again, it's a fixed rate loan, up to about 25 years. You can actually refinance some debt with this loan as well. So if you're buying equipment like a truck, piece of equipment to work on, or real estate, this will be the loan I recommend to you. It's called a 504 loan. All right. We have any questions regarding that loan program? If not, we'll move to the next slide.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
And this is in reference to very similar to the previous question, but this is more for personal real estate. Now, if the real estate is mainly for commercial use, as in group homes, is that still considered typical real estate where it has to be either getting a loan from HUD or just using your own money?
Well, now you can possibly use that for a group home. Now, here's the deal. SBA loans are primarily for a for-profit business. As a group home is a nonprofit, then it wouldn't qualify for SBA financing. Only time we can allow loans for nonprofits is for disasters, but otherwise it would not qualify for an SBA guaranteed loan. But again, if it's for-profit, then likely it could qualify.
Yeah, basically in this case, you'd be for-profit, but mainly a group home, as in for homeless veterans, they still have to make payments, whereas government VA also makes certain payments on it. So it still be a for-profit instead of
okay. Long as it's listed as for-profit, it could possibly qualify.
Great, thanks.
Okay. All right.
And before you
Next
go
slide,
on
please.
before you go on to the next slide, I just want to say if anyone is interested in more information on the 504 loan program, I'm actually completing a housing finance development professional certification from the National Development Council, where we are being trained and certified to put these types of projects together. And so I have information on the 504 loan program. I think if you're in the state of South Carolina, I think there are fewer than, at least people going through this training, there are fewer than 60 of us in the state who are completing the training right now. So just let me know. You guys know how to get in contact with me if you're interested in more information about that.
So would that be to include, I'm in Virginia, so would that be nationwide information or is just strictly for South Carolina?
No, all the services and resources and loans that we have, they were provided by the SBA nationwide.
And so,
and in Virginia, you can contact a local office in Virginia, and all the resource part. Like, so you go to the website, we either give them a call, and they can find all the resources available nationwide. The SCORE, SBDC, WBC, all those things, all the loan programs, they're all offered nationwide. And the SBA, we're in every state, we're in every territory So pretty much any U.S. territory, you can find an SBA resource.
And the 504 loan program is a USDA program or a HUD program, and so it is also national.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, the next program I'm going to tell you about is called the micro loan. I'm a big fan of the micro loan. Reason being because everybody does need $1 million. Everybody does need $250,000 to start a business. Our micro loan program range from $500 to $50,000. Right? Again, range from $500 to $50,000. We have 3 micro lenders in the state of South Carolina. Now, the micro loan can be used for all the purposes of our previous loans. I told you, 7A loan, to purchase equipment, to buy furniture fixtures. Only thing the SBA, the micro loan cannot be used for is to buy real estate. Anything else, it can be used for, it's like all the other loans. Now, the lenders we have, well, Appalachian Development Corporation located in Greenville, they're not active in the program anymore. Beaufort County, Black Chamber of Commerce, they're located within Beaufort area. They cover the 4 counties surrounding Beaufort. They're active. Charleston Citywide, which is called Local Development Corporation out of Charleston. They cover they're off the loan statewide. They are for years, they've been our top micro lender. We have Community Works, Carolina. They're located out of Greenville. They're statewide also. They're our number 2 micro lender. A Small Business Assistance Corporation, they're located in Savannah, but they cover the coastal area of South Carolina. They cover some of the coastal counties down there in that Beaufort area, and they're the borders of the state of Georgia. So for South Carolina, we have Beaufort County Black Chamber of Commerce, Charleston Local Development Corporation, and Community Works. Community Works and Charleston Local Development Corporation offer the loan statewide. Now, this is one other loan too. If you are currently on parole or probation, you cannot qualify for any SBA guaranteed loan. However, for our micro loan program, the micro lender, what we call it, micro intermediary, it can allow for a person that's under parole or probation to apply for one of their loans if they're approved for that. But again, loan ranges from, and then another feature of our micro loan, right? If your credit scores are below 600, you would not qualify for any of our conventional loans. However, for our micro loan and our disaster loans, we allow credit scores in the high 500s. I recently completed our audits of our 3 micro loan companies, and surprisingly, I've seen credit scores like 560s, 590s. Especially being a banker, your credit scores with that, the bank would not probably touch you. If they did touch you, you would have an extremely high rate. But again, our micro loan program is there to assist small businesses to start and to grow. And I've seen loans as low as $2,500 small businesses to get started, either grow and expand their businesses. And the purpose of it is allow you to get financing. Now, also, the micro lender must provide what's called technical assistance. So they have to train you. They spend hours with you, training you on certain aspects of running a business before you get the loan. And as well, after you get the loan as well, they follow up with you. They continue to offer training to you also. So they must provide technical assistance to you also when you get a micro loan. Again, the purpose of it helps people who probably cannot get conventional financing. Sometimes they can't get conventional financing because of the amount of money they're asking for is just too small for a bank to do that, right? So a micro loan program could be a fit for that as well. Again, I'm a huge proponent of a micro loan program. We help a lot of small businesses get started. And then within 2 or 3 years, your business grow and expand. You can go back to a bank, you've improved your credit, or you can go to a conventional bank and apply for a larger loan that exceeds the limits of the micro loan program. So do we have any questions regarding the SBA micro loan program? If no questions, move on to the next slide. Now, here are the requirements to getting an SBA loan. The lender wants to know, why do you want the loan? I showed you earlier, if you're buying an existing business, you're looking for working capital, seasonal inventory, things of those nature, those are the purpose of the loan. That's what you're telling the lender, this is what I want the loan for, okay? Lender wants to see a good business plan. You cannot walk into your bank and say, well, this is my vision. Can you see my vision? No, we can't see your vision. My suggestion to you is go contact SCORE, Small Business Development Center, Women's Business Center, have one of them to assist you in putting a business plan together. Remember, there's no charge for them to assist you. Now, they won't write that business plan for you. They will advise you and guide you through the process of putting a business plan together. So the reason, purpose of that, because the reason I want you to do it yourself, because if you sit down with your lender, you have to explain the business plan to them. Your lender has questions regarding the business plan. You need to explain that. Let me ask you as a lender, who is your target market? Why did you choose your location? You can't say, well, my family had this property right here, right? So that's why we chose the location. Okay. So the next question I ask you, well, how many people live in that community? What's the average income in that community? Do the people like or interested in the services that you have, right? Because there must be a demand for the product or service that you provide. If there's not a demand for the product or service that you provide, then there's no need for you to be in business. Particularly when they ask about your location, you must be able to describe, well, in my area, okay, on this street right here, maybe like I had talked to a guy who wanted to start a business downtown Columbia in the Vista area, right? Vista area is a very popular area of Columbia, have about 300 restaurants. One feature of the Vista on the ordinary day pre-COVID, you might have 50,000 cars come through the area per day. Not only do you have 50,000 cars come through there, you're going to have a significant number of people on foot that's going through there as well. So if you have a restaurant or business in that area, someone's going to walk by or either drive by your business, but they increase your opportunity to have exposure for your business, right? So that's why you choose location. That's something you have to explain to your lender why you chose that location. Credit history. We're going to look at the personal credit history of the business owner and the business. Your business is brand new, you won't have a credit history, but they're going to look at the credit history of the owner. As I mentioned to you, your credit scores need to be at least in the high 600s, okay, to get financing. Anything lower than that, you probably can get financing, but it's going to be more difficult for you to get that. If you've been in business for at least 3 years, you want to see the financial statements of your business for 3 years, the latest 3 years of that. Scheduled terms of debt. If you owe debt to anyone, want to find out what you owe to someone, how much debt is your business in. Age of accounts receivable, accounts payable. We'll see how much money you owe to someone else, who owes you money as well. So we have to see your accounts payables, accounts receivables, and lease details. If you're wanting a 5-year loan, hopefully your lease is the same term of the loan. You don't want to be forced to relocate during the term of your loan, because that could either negatively or positively impact your business. So you want to see the lease details of your business as well. And those primarily for existing businesses. Okay. Any questions? Next slide, please. Okay, some additional requirements about amount of owned investment. As I mentioned to you earlier, there's no such thing as 100% financing. We call that owner's equity injection. How much injection did the owner do? As I mentioned, you're going to invest between 10 and 30%. It depends on the lender. It depends on the purpose of the loan. It depends on how you start a business. If you're a brand new business starting up, you're probably going to want 20% from you. You've been in business for a while, you have a good business history, big credit history, you're probably going to want 10% from you. So just be prepared. Once you get your business plan, you determine how much money you need to borrow, you start saving. I need to save between 10 and 30% for my business, okay? Projections of income, expenses, and cash flow are your projections. When you see those information, those things need to be realistic. And sometimes this is about difficult things to put together on your business plan, your projections of expenses and income and cash flow. Again, my recommendation to you is contact the SCORE, Small Business Development Center, or WBC, Women's Business Center, for assistance in putting your business plan together for that, okay? You want to see personal resumes. You want to see what has been your experience in your life, your career experiences, the key employees, the managers, the owners. What are your experiences been? The more experience that you have in relation to the business that you're going into, more opportunity for you to get approved for a loan. If you're doing something that you've never done before, then most people are kind of skeptical of your skills of running that business. So you or your key employees must have direct industry experience. That's what you mentioned here, direct industry experience. You want someone in your key management to have direct industry experience, meaning that you have worked in the field of this business that you're going into. If you work in the field of that business you're going into, it increases your chances of being successful in running that business, okay? All right, secondary source of income, right? So if you're a retired military, you're gonna keep a full-time job, you have military disability or some other income coming in, or your spouse, someone else working. That's what I mean by a secondary source of income. If you have a secondary source of income, it means you have another means of repaying that loan. However, for the SBA, we want you to primarily be able to repay this loan from the revenue generated by this business, okay? A secondary source of income is great. It helps to improve your chances of getting approved for a loan, but primarily you need to demonstrate that you can repay the loan from the revenues generated by this business, okay? Any questions? No questions. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, that's my work phone that's actually ringing there. All right. As I mentioned earlier, your business must be a for-profit business. You must meet size standards, meet type of business, and unable to borrow on reasonable terms. Now, what we mean by unable to borrow on reasonable terms, I said earlier, you cannot go into a bank and ask for a direct SBA guaranteed loan. First of all, that's submit for you for a conventional loan first. So what we mean by unable to borrow on reasonable terms, I also mentioned that some banks will not lend to a startup business. So if you've been in business for less than 2 years, you are a startup business. There are some lenders that you're too risky for them, okay? There are some lenders who will not lend to a restaurant because restaurants are very volatile business as well. Restaurants, in fact, are the most volatile business that you can go into. Okay, so unable to borrow on reasonable terms means like, okay, startup business, banks say, well, there's too much risk for that. Some industry that you're into, too much risk for that. That your credit is not the best. Those things are the reason by unable to borrow on reasonable terms is that you don't meet some requirement of the bank's conventional requirements. So in that case, the lender may offer you an SBA guaranteed loan. Again, first, I have to consider that. I have to consider you for a conventional loan first, and you don't meet all the requirements, they can consider you for an SBA guaranteed loan after that, right? So the next slide. All right, does anybody think $7 million is a small amount of money? This is what we mean by size standards, right? There's something called a NAICS code, NAICS, North American Industry Classification System Code. Whatever industry that you go into, there's a 6-digit code that assigns to the industry. Now that 6-digit code, the purpose of that is to tell the lender, or either tell anybody that you qualify for SBA requirements. Now, requirements to consider for SBA requirements is based on 2 things. One, on the amount of revenue your business can generate over a 3-year period of time, or the amount of revenues your business can, the maximum amount of employees that your business can have. Okay. Now, $7 million here. You see where we're talking retail. A retail business can range between $7 million and $38.5 million. That means you have a retail business, you can make up, in some cases, it depends on your business, right? You may be able to make up to $38.5 million and still be considered a small business and still qualify for SBA loan programs, okay? Can anybody live off of $38.5 million? I think there will be a struggle, right? But, I'm willing to try that struggle, but I think it'd be difficult to live off of $38.5 million. I think it's difficult, okay? All right, so you can have retail business, service business that, again, over $35 million. You have a manufacturing business. So if you have a manufacturing business, you have up to 1,500 employees that still be considered small business. Now, I think 1,500 employees is a significant amount of employees. If I saw 1,500 people coming out of one business building, that's a lot of people coming out of that one location, but you still could be considered small, okay? Wholesale business, you have up to 100 employees. Construction, about $36.5 million. Admin business, about $38.5 million business. If your business involved in transportation, your limitation will be either based on revenue, $38.5 million, or either 1,500 employees, okay? And technical business, again, about $38.5 million. So again, your limitation is either based on revenue or how many employees your business can have to determine if you qualify for small business or SBA guarantee programs. Now, when you apply for your small business license and you tell your county or civil institution what type of business you have, they're gonna assign a NAICS code that fit your business. NAICS code will be the most close relatable thing to your business, and that will be the NAICS code you'll assign, the 6-digit code. And you can use Google NAICS, NICA, NICS well, you can just Google that. NAICS codes to find out what a code will be that fits your business if you're unaware of it. If not, just go to your town or someone in municipality and apply for a small business license and tell them what you do, and they'll locate the code that mostly relates to your business. Okay. Next, please. All right, ineligible businesses. As I said earlier, you must be a for-profit business. We do not do SBA guarantee loans for nonprofits. However, for disaster, we do allow nonprofit businesses to be financing for disasters. Your business must be owned and controlled primarily by U.S. citizens or permanent resident alien. Your business is foreign controlled and does not qualify for SBA guarantee loans. A business that has private membership or limits club like that, we don't allow that for SBA guarantee loans as well. If you are an individual that's currently in parole or probation, do not qualify for SBA guarantee loans. I told you the exception to that. You can apply for the SBA micro loan. It's up to the lender to allow you approval, or if not. If you had defaulted on a previous federal loan, such as an SBA guaranteed loan or a federal housing loan, or via mortgage or a student loan, if you had defaulted on a previous federal loan, then you would not qualify for an SBA guaranteed loan. Now, if you have defaulted on a previous federal loan, my suggestion to you is contact the agency and try to get a repayment plan to pay that loan. The reason I'm saying that because when you retire and you expect to get Social Security, you may not receive Social Security. You may get a letter from the Department of Treasury saying that the federal government is taking their money back from you. So you don't want to be faced with that scenario. So if you default on previous loan, contact the federal agency to work out a payment plan and start repaying that loan if you can. Okay. Other business that we don't allow lending to, if your business is involved in lending money, we don't allow that. Your business is involved in speculations. As we talked about earlier, real estate investment, we call that a speculation business because we don't know how that will work out. You can have the economy crash, real estate market crash. That's involved in speculation. So the SBA does not do that either. Your business is passive investment. Passive investment business say that you own a commercial property. You decide to divide that commercial property into 5 rooms. So one room is a beauty salon, one room is a nail salon, one room is a barbershop, one room is a kitchen or something like that, whatever else, right? However, the only thing that you do for that business is collect rent. You are a passive business, right? You have to be actively involved in your business. Your business has to be actually doing something other than collecting rent. So passive businesses, we don't allow that. We don't allow pyramid scheme businesses as well. Pyramid, where all the money goes to the top and very little trickles down to the bottom. We don't allow that. We don't allow any gambling. So you can't say, well, the lottery, the Powerball is up to $250,000, is up to $250 million. I want to buy $10,000 with lottery tickets. Let me get $10,000 small business loan. We don't allow that either. So those things are not ineligible for an SBA guarantee loans. Okay. Next slide. All right, you must meet what we call the 6 C's of credit, right? The first one, character. Must be a person of good standing. You don't want someone that's in and out of jail. Now, here's the deal about this. If you have a person that has a previous arrest record, and even with a felony, if you have served all your time, that does not disqualify you from the SBA guarantee loan. If you have served all of your time, there's a form that you fill out, it's called a 912. SBA will give you, your lender will give you. They will ask for fingerprints, something like that. They'll send that form to the SBA, to the FBI. The FBI comes back and says this person is qualified, SBA guarantee loan. You may proceed with applying for a loan. Again, a previous arrest record does not disqualify you. We have to do this further investigation. You can't be approved for a loan. Okay, a capacity. Capacity is your business or ability to repay that loan. You're looking at financial documentation, your profit and loss statements, anything you can provide to show that the business, the revenue that your business made, that you can repay that loan. Capital, what's your position? Okay, if your business is upside down in debt, or your business is you're making a profit. You have, like I say, we're looking at your capital position. Are you a profitable business or non-profitable business? And then some businesses are non-profit, but not by choice. They're non-profit have because their business is consistently losing money. And you don't want that. That's why they want to look at your financials over a 3-year period of time. Out of a 3-year period of time, you should be making money at least 1 year out of a 3-year period of time. You're consistently losing money 3 consecutive years, then you're not actually losing money. You're not actually making money, and you won't be eligible to apply for a loan. Conditions, what are the conditions that the lender has? What are the conditions of the market? The documentation that you have to provide, things that it has to be proven. Documentation you have to provide a tax return, which the SBA. We submit your tax returns to your lender. Submit your tax return to the IRS to guarantee your tax returns. Your tax returns must match what's submitted to the government, so then we can solidify that. Well, the person is making money, and they can move on. Collateral, as I mentioned, you must have some type of physical assets to guarantee your loan. It could be your home, real estate, vehicles. It could be investment things that you have to guarantee your loan. As I mentioned, SBA loans that are $25,000 and less, we do not require collateral. However, above the loan amount of $25,000, the SBA does require collateral, and the lender does as well. So you must have some type of collateral to back your loan up also. And the last is confidence, right? If you answer all of the 6 C's in positive manner, all the questions, then you giving your lender confidence in approving a loan for you. And that's what you want to do. You want to give them confidence that you can repay that loan, you can run that business significantly, and it won't be much of a risk to you or to them or their stockholders for lending money to you as a small business owner. All right, next slide. And now we're talking about credit scores. Credit is very significant. Credit scores range between 300 and 850. As I mentioned to you, to be considered what we call credit worthy, you need credit scores at least in the 600s, right? And I would say the higher they are in 600, the better position that you are in. Now, most of the American population credit scores range between 620 and 779. That's most of us, right? Now, again, credit scores go to 850. If your credit scores is 800, that is great. However, it is not required. I would say requirement for you, if your credit scores in the 700s, that's very great, right? You will not be declined because of your credit. It could be other issues, but not your credit, okay? All right. Now, if your credit scores are below 600, you need to address that ASAP. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but it could be things that happen you not control, but you need to address that ASAP because that could be detrimental to you in applying for and being approved for financing, okay? Next slide, please. This is how your credit scores are determined, right? 35% of your credit scores are based on your payment history. Are you paying your bills on time? As often as possible, please pay your bills on time within 30 days of the due date, right? Once you start exceeding 30 days, you start having late charges and late lists on your credit report. The more time they list late on your credit report, your credit scores are declining, okay? So you want to avoid that. Pay your bills on time, do not overextend yourself, okay? The next 30% is called credit utilization. How much of your credit are you using? If you have a $10,000 credit card and you have $9,500, which is outstanding, which is what you owe on it, then you nearly maxed out. You want to keep your credit utilization between 25 and 50%. So once you start exceeding that, your credit scores are going to go down as well. So be very, to really look at your credit utilization, be positive with that, pay attention to that very closely, right? 15% of your credit scores is credit history, length of credit history. If you have credit history that's stretched over a period of time, that's great. If you have a bunch of new credit history, That's kind of frightening. The bank does not know what you're gonna do. You don't know if you're gonna max out all of your new credit. Max out all of your new credit, your credit score is gonna go down. You can find yourself being non-credit worthy. Okay. The next 10% is called credit searchers. There are two types of credit searchers. They're what we call pulls. There's a soft pull and a hard pull. Okay. A soft pull, when you check your own credit, that's a soft pull. If you're applying for a job, your employer checks your credit, that's a soft pull. A soft pull does not count against you. However, a hard pull counts against you. If you're applying for a credit card, if you're applying for an automobile loan, you're applying for a mortgage loan, things like that, those are called hard pulls. Hard pull counts against you. Your credit scores decrease between 2 and 4 points each time. Okay? Recommendation to you, if you're buying a car, do not go to a dealership and allow each dealership to pull your credit, right? If you do that, you went to 5 dealerships in one day, your credit scores are going to go down 20 points in one day. And also, as I mentioned, the recent credit searches, you can have all those credit searches listed on your credit report as well. That's going to decrease your credit score. If you're looking for a car, my suggestion to you is go to your bank's website, find out what type of rates your bank is offering. And then if the rates are fair to you, contact your bank and apply for an automobile loan through your bank. Here's the advantage of that, right? If you're approved for an automobile loan through your bank's going to tell you how much you're going to be approved for. They're going to tell you what your payment, you can negotiate your bank, how much your payments you want to be. Now, the advantage of that, when you go to your car dealership, all you have to do at a dealership is negotiate on the price of the car, okay? So your bank approved you for a $25,000 car loan. You don't have to tell your lender, you don't have to tell the car dealer what you're approved for. You say, well, I've gone to my bank, I've been approved for a loan. The car costs $25,000, right? Your bank approved you for $25,000. Tell the car dealer you were approved for $20,000. Why? You wanted to bring your price down, right? The lower the price, more money you're going to save. You say, well, I was only approved for $20,000 to my bank. I don't want to apply for another loan. So can you meet me halfway somewhere? In most cases, especially if you go to the end of the month, at the end of the month, that car dealer wants to sell that car, and they may bring that price down for you in your favor, okay? Secondly, if you're looking for a mortgage loan, don't go to a bunch of mortgage lenders. Go to their websites, see what they're offering, see what terms they're offering, and then find out which one is best to suit you. Once you find that out, you apply for a loan through that one lender, okay? Less credit searches, less people pull your credit, better off your credit score will be. Any questions regarding credit factors and credit scores? If not, we have the next slide. All right. The federal government requires the 3 credit reporting agencies to give you 1 free credit report per year, okay? Now, there are 3 credit reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, okay? Now, the SBA uses Experian. Not all you lenders use all 3. Some use 1, may use 2. My suggestion to you, if you have no idea what your credit scores are, check your credit score before you apply for a loan. You may be under the impression that your credit scores are pretty good and pretty high. However, unbeknownst to you, you may be a victim of identity theft. In that case, you check your credit before you go to apply for a loan. Because in case, like if your credit scores, you've been a victim of identity theft, your scores could be low, or it could be any reason. You might, again, before you apply for a loan, be aware of what your own credit scores are, okay? Because someone could be, like I said, we showed you earlier, prime rate now is 3.25%. So someone offer you 10% for a car, something like that, that's high. If you have pretty good credit scores, you are deserving of a better rate. So know what you're working with before you apply for a loan. Now you go to the phone number there, 877-322-8228. You can apply, you can get the 1 free credit report. Now the free credit report only gives you your history. It does not give you a credit score. Now to obtain your credit score, you have to pay about $10 per agency to get the score. But again, if you have no idea what your scores are, check all 3 before you apply for a loan, okay? Don't be left in the dark. And we see this especially with, we have a lot of businesses or community affected by our disaster loans. A lot of people are applying for our disaster loans. For our disaster loan, you can have credit scores in the high 500s. If your scores are lower than that, you will be declined for that. If you're going to be a small business owner, you must be credit worthy. You don't want to have bad credit and want to be a small business owner because it's going to significantly impact you getting financing or assistance for your business, okay? All right, next slide, please. All right, there are alternative sources of financing. There's something called crowdfunding, right? Websites like Kickstarter.com, you can go there. Indiegogo, you can go there to find alternative sources of finance as well. One called Fund Vet, that one's catered towards veterans. There's also something called angel investors. Angel investors are wealthy people. They pull their money together to invest in a startup or either business that's going to be very successful in a short period of time. There's a national list called angellist.com. South Carolina has a list of angel investors as well. Go to scangelnetwork.com. You can find a list of angel network investors within the state of South Carolina also. Okay. All right, can we have a next slide, please? All right, the SBA has a tool called Lender Match. Lender Match is a tool the SBA has on our website, go to sba.gov, and you can click on Lender Match /Lender Match. This tool allows you to find lenders in your area, right? So the lenders in your area who will sign up for Lender Match, the borrower like yourself goes to Lender Match. There's a questionnaire, it has about 21 questions. We don't need your personal information. They ask you how long have you been in business, how much money you want, what do you want to do with the business. We have questions like that. But once you complete the questionnaire, your questionnaire is sent out to lenders in your zip code, in your community, or in your county will sign up for Lender Match. Now, they receive your questionnaire, they can look at it. If they're interested in you, they can accept your information from the SBA and they can follow up with you. Now, it's not a guaranteed loan, but it gives you the opportunity to find out more lenders in your area who may be looking to assist small businesses like yourself. Instead of you driving around town or going to a website to go to a website, these are legitimate lenders that have agreements with the SBA on our website. Again, it does not guarantee a loan, but it gives you exposure to meet more lenders at one time, okay? So that's what we offer. Next slide, please. All right, now we mentioned COVID-19. We had some disaster loan programs out there. We had a paycheck protection program, a program that was out there. That program, I believe, ended in August, so that's no longer available. If you have one of those, you can presently apply for forgiveness of that loan. Okay, a loan that we still have in place is called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or short-term EIDL loan. You can apply for this loan directly on the SBA's website, sba.gov/disaster. Applications out there. We also have our Office of Disaster Assistance. You may contact them for questions. Their number is 1-800-659-2955. Now, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the maximum loan amount is $150,000. Again, not everyone's going to get approved for that. They're going to ask for your financials. They're only going to approve you for the maximum amount they can verify that you can afford to pay. The maximum term for an economic injury disaster loan is 30 years. It offers a fixed rate. The rate is 3.75% for for-profit businesses and 2.75% for non-profit businesses. So this is one of our loans, again, available to for-profit and non-profit, fixed rate, 3.75% for-profit, 2.75% for nonprofit. The first payment for this loan is deferred for 1 year. For 1 year, do not make a payment on this loan, okay? The loan proceeds can be used to pay off debt, payroll, accounts payable, accounts receivable, or accounts payable, and other bills that cannot be paid due to economic disaster based on COVID-19. Now, however, I think for both of these loans, you have to have been in business by February 13th of 2020. Now, you must demonstrate that your business has a loss because of COVID-19. Now, you're going to have your tax returns. If you were in business last year and your business made a loss last year previous to COVID-19, you do not have a loss for 2020. Because you don't have a loss, you will likely be declined. That's why I told you, it's significant to have your tax returns and significant that your business is making a profit at some point, okay? All right, again, to apply for the economic injury disaster loan, go to our website, sba.gov/disaster. Also, you may, for questions, you can call 1-800-659-2955. Now, this loan has been available since about March. If you have not applied for it, I do not know what you're waiting on. There's millions of people all over the country that are applying for this loan. So if you need assistance for your business, you've been in business for like more than a year, please apply for this loan. Do not hesitate for it. And I told you, I'm saying this, millions of people were applying for it because it does not get approved overnight. It can take a month or so, it can take weeks to get approved. And particularly, if there's an issue with your application, it can take weeks to approve, to correct your issue also. So be careful putting your information in there, make sure you're doing everything correctly, and put it with the most reliable information you can up front in the application process, okay? Next slide, please. Now, our fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020. We do not have all of our numbers for 2020 yet. So as of, for last year, September 31st, 2018, all of our loan programs, the 7A, 504 microloan program, we had a total of 668 loans for the state of South Carolina, for a total of $347 million in guaranteed loans in the state of South Carolina alone. So SBA, we're active. We're very active lenders for loans. I just got through telling you all the requirements for loans, how to apply for a loan, all the details for a loan. So you meet those requirements, you can be successful in obtaining financing for SBA guaranteed loan. Okay, next slide. All right, our lender relations team. I'm the senior lender relations specialist. My name again is Frank Anderson. My office direct number is 803-253-3018. My email is frank.anderson@sba.gov. We have William Furman. He's the alternative worksite manager in Charleston. He covers the whole coastal area of South Carolina. His phone number is 843-225-7430. Phone number, website, email, william.furman@sba.gov. My actual territory is upstate of South Carolina, but I do a lot of stuff all over the state of South Carolina. I'm also the veterans rep, so I do a lot of classes for veterans of our military installations like Fort Jackson, Shaw, Charleston Air Base, the Naval Weapons Station, and Marine Air Base, and Paris Island as well. Okay. Savannah Wilburn is our other lender relations specialist. Savannah also does economic development. Her phone number is 803-253-3121, and her email is savannah.wilburn@sba.gov. Okay, that concludes our presentation. Do we have any questions at this time?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I applied. But first of all, I'm Frederico Brunt. I applied for the SBA loan, and I got approved. And what happened was, when I first started doing it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I ended up doing more than one application because I got approved. The guy approved me. He called me back and said, "Hey, you got approved. These are going to be your payments," and told me the whole situation. And then he said that, by the night, you'll know, we have a letter for you to be able to sign, and take whatever you're going to take. But then it came back denied because it said that I had multiple applications in. So I guess they told me I needed to write a letter stating why I had multiple applications in. So I did actually speak to someone, but it's been a while now and I haven't heard anything about it, anything from it. But they said the reason was because I had multiple applications in. But I was explaining to the lady, well, I got approved, so why wouldn't you take the one that I actually sent the correct information in? They had all of my correct information. I even sent them my tax. They got my tax. They did everything. They got all my information, and that's
Yes,
how they
sir.
approved me off of that.
Yes, sir. So when you see the decline letter, you have 6 months to appeal that decline. What you need to do is send all the information into the SBA. Also, again, that the disaster number, call that number, 1-800-659-2955. Give them the application number. Hey, I was approved, and address it of someone. And like I said, we have people all around the country applying. So it's not easy to get a customer service person. Not all of them are equal. Some of them are willing to help you. Some of them are not that helpful. I get calls from people all the time. And so you can do that. I say follow up with them with a phone call. That doesn't help you. You can send me an email. I can try to forward your information on if I can get some help too. But again, like I said, because of sheer volume, there's nothing guaranteed.
Yeah,
I won't
because
make
that's
any
what it,
promises to you. But I'll just tell you that's the truth.
yeah, because what it was, it actually was a EIDL loan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then I did call the number. Yeah, I did call the
Sorry?
number, and I did speak to someone, and I did explain
Yes,
everything to them, and I sent them all of my information that they asked for, but I just haven't heard anything back. Like,
well, follow back over this. Sorry, as I mentioned, we have people all around the country who are applying, so we have tons of volume. Follow back up with them. Follow back with them with the email. Follow back with them with a phone call, and then you can send an email to me as well. Frank, this is steps I made. This is steps I took. I can forward it on too. Again, it'd be some help, but no guarantee. You know, like I said,
let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Would you need that number? Because they actually it gives you a number. Like,
yes,
and I have that number.
I have
yes,
that
sir.
number. The application number. Yes, sir.
Yep.
So hopefully you still have the email that is sent to you.
Yeah, I sent an email back to them, and it said it came back. It always it's like a generated thing. It always says, "Thank you for applying."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not easy. It's not easy. That's what I'm saying. That's why you want to do everything correct up front, because any delay can put you back a ways.
Yep, and see that's what it was. And I'm talking about. I actually got when the guy called me back. He was like, "I have bad news." I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, the bad news is your payments are going to be this." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Oh, I thought I had you." He was like, "No, you got approved,
Yes,
and I
sir.
got everything." But then it came back when I got home. You was denied because you had multiple applications. And I'm like, "Well," I explained to him why I had the multiple application, because I didn't know what I was doing. So the guy actually walked me through everything.
Yes,
when
sir.
the one that approved it, he had me to send him all of my information. And he said, "Hey, I'm gonna call you back if I need this. Call you back if I need it." And then he got everything done. He got me approved, but that was
There's
it.
other applications out there. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So I was wondering why
But
wouldn't they
like I
take the
said,
correct information?
Yeah, like I said, don't give up. Keep calling them. Keep trying to communicate with them, because if you let that 6 months expire, you have to do it all over again.
Okay, well, I tell you what, if you don't mind, I'm gonna send it to you, to your to Frank.Anderson.
Yes, sir.
If you don't
Now,
mind,
what you need to do, let's say, make that phone call first, send an email to them first, then send me an email with the steps. Frank, I've called them. Frank, I've emailed them. I'm not hearing anything. Then I'll forward it from there.
Okay, yep. I just recently did that all again. As a matter of fact, I've done that I've done that maybe 10 times.
I believe you. Like I told you, if you do something wrong, it's difficult. That's what I'm telling you. Try to do everything correct up front. You make one
That's
little
why
mistake.
I said I will.
We get people all the time saying, I put the wrong account number, and that's a bad mistake. Banks turn the money back, you know?
Yep. So I've followed up, and I've did a lot of following up. So like what you're saying, maybe I can send it to you now, and I can go ahead and just see what if you could help. And I don't know, but I definitely followed up. Well, I was calling over and over, and I sent them everything they asked me for with that. I wrote a letter. Matter of fact, one of the ladies was nice enough to help me write the letter. When I talked to her on the phone, she told me what to put on there.
Yes, sir.
She said, make sure you put that number, that loan application number, 1,000 times so they can see it, because that's what they'll know to look at. So I did that. So maybe I can just forward it to you and see.
Well, attach the letter to your email too. Send that to me also. And I'm actually off today, but I will forward that on Monday.
All right, let me ask you this. One more question for it. How do I check it? How do I check the status? How would I go?
You have to call that 800 number.
Okay, you can't check it on the internet.
No, like I said, because everything you go through disaster, it's not us. I have no access to their system. So I give you that number to call them. And I told you call them in the morning or late afternoon. Because like I said, people
Okay.
calling all day long.
Yeah, I got it. I got you. I got
Yes,
you.
sir.
Well, I really appreciate it, man. Thank
Thank you, sir. Glad I can help you.
you. Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Looks like we have Miss Taylor. You have a question, Miss Taylor?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I have a statement toward what was just discussed. I had the same situation where I had applied, and this is just general information to the gentleman that was just speaking, but I had a situation where I applied for the loan, and it was taking too long, and people were getting approved, around me, and I was getting anxious, so I submitted a second one. Then I got the approval letter, and then I got a denial letter with the same response stating that it was a duplicate or you already have another loan in the system. Now, if you don't pay attention, like the original approval loan gave me an application number that was separate from the denial letter. So I would advise you to take a look at the denial letter and then take a look at your approval letter. It's very possible that they approved you for your loan, and then your second one came in and they denied you on that one. So just take a look at the numbers. And when you call in to speak with them at the 800 number, make sure you're referencing the approval loan number and not the denial loan number.
Good information. Good information. Anyone else? But like I say, if you do get declined or any issue, address the issue as soon as possible. They allow you 6 months. We have a lot of people who were declined because of credit. And I told them, again, pull all 3 credit agencies. If your other scores are high 500s or 600, send that back to the SBA along with the 3 credit reports showing and ask for reconsideration.
And reconsiderations do work. I was working with a lot of small business owners to get approvals for EIDLs, and many of them had gotten denials before we started working together. And we submitted reconsiderations in cases for like credit and that kind of stuff, and they were successful. So they do work.
Yeah. And one thing I would suggest too, whatever you get approved for, take it. I've gotten business owners who got approved for the maximum amount and they say, "Oh, I didn't need the money." So they ask for a lower amount or they return some money. Then weeks later, I need that money again. I just spoke to the person this week. Now, so whatever you're approved for, you got approved for the bags, take it. If you don't need it, put it in a CD somewhere, put it somewhere secure. But because you don't know how long this pandemic is going to last. We don't know if a program will ever be offered like this again. Whatever you get approved for, take every dime of it. And how long it takes to get this loan. So take every dime of it and use it for your best purpose. And then please use the money lawfully, because I have people that, it's like, well, I know people who bought a boat with it and they will tell on you. Your friends, who rode your boat, they'll be the ones stabbing you in the back tomorrow, so, and then, and there are a lot of fraud investigations going on, and this is a federal government. And the chances of you winning a case against the federal government is not likely. Any further questions? All right, Mr. McClary, turn it back over to you.
Well, Mr.
And
Anderson,
thank you all for allowing me to give a presentation to you all today. Again, also go to our website, sba.gov/SC for South Carolina. We often have webinars and things all around our state. You can find out what we're doing, what our partners are doing. And not only our partners, we partner with other organizations, Department of Transportation, Department of Commerce, a lot of organizations that we partner with us to find out everything that they do around the whole state that we're offering. And even some other offices outside our South Carolina district office, we have webinars and workshops all the time, help you grow your business and learn about your business. So SBA is a great resource. Again, everything that we do is free. So, and then our partners, either free or low cost, but we're here to help you grow in your small businesses and want to be successful. Hopefully, one day you can turn a small idea into one of those $1 billion industries that we showed you earlier. Again, thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson, once again, thank you so much for always answering the call whenever I reach out to you, and for being willing to do this for us today. Um, I can't thank you enough. And for all of the folks who participated, I'm going to be respectful of Mr. Anderson's time. And Mr. Anderson, you can fall off, but if there are people on here who still have questions about anything that was discussed today, or would like more information on something that I may be able to assist on, or who have questions about government contracting or any of that stuff, then I'll stand by. It is now 12:31. I know that we started at 11, and so this is going a little bit long, but I will stand by until 12:45 or so, unless the questions continue. So, Mr. Anderson, thank you again so much.
Thank you all, guys. Have a great weekend and stay safe. Thank you.
Bye.
Ms. McClary.
Yes.
Yes. How are you doing? I actually did the reconsideration. It's called, I guess they call it PDC reconsideration or something like that. I started it and I sent it in to them, but I still get the same response. And
did someone assist you with your reconsideration?
One of the actual ladies that I called with the loan thing, she was like, well, most people are not gonna be that friendly. She's like, I'll tell you, you can kind of write down some of the stuff that I'm saying, and you can make sure you put that in, in whatever you're writing, the email that you're gonna send to them. And then I followed what she told me to do, and then just kind of sent it in, but I still haven't heard anything.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm asking is, you're talking about a reconsideration for a loan that was denied because you had a duplicate application where you already were approved. So like I think earlier, Miss Dorsey said, it is likely that there are two records for two different loans in your file. So you may be requesting reconsideration on a loan.
No, I said the actual one with the number.
Unnecessarily. With the approval or with the one that was denied?
I sent the actual loan with the approval, but what she explained to me was, she said, send the denial one, the one that the first call one. She said, but what you really want to reference is the approved one. She said you want to make sure you put that number down, because that's the number that you're trying to get them to reconsider. Not that you want them to get rid of all the other stuff, tell them it was the wrong information. So give them the number that you was approved. So that's the one that I sent, the number that I was approved.
I'm going to be honest with you, without being able to see all of the correspondence that you have received and sent, it would be impossible for me to really give you some advice on what you need to do. And because
I have that.
You said that you've gone back and forth and you've worked with, and people have told you what to do, like I would really need to see that. But I think that if you were approved the first time, even though it may be a more lengthy process, you are qualified. The only issue that they're really concerned about probably is that the duplicate application makes it look like it may be an attempt to defraud the government. Or, that I don't know if the information that you submitted on one application was the same as the information on the other application.
It was different.
Yeah. And so that might be raising some red flags, but the fact that you say that you verified that information by submitting all of your tax forms and all of that stuff, I would venture to say, would mean that you could probably have a successful reconsideration, but I would not.
Yeah.
I would have to see all of that stuff.
Gotcha. Because what it was when I explained it to the lady when I called on the number, she said, well, what was the reason for the first application? Why did you resubmit another one? I said, well, because I obviously sent the wrong information. I was trying to do everything on my own at the beginning, and I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. I just said, I'm gonna do it, and I thought I did it right. So when I finally got the approval, the guy kind of walked me through everything. He said, okay, this is what you send me all of this, and if anything else I need, I'm gonna contact you. And you had submitted to me tax forms, I want to say, what is it, 4506 or some form or something like that. I submitted all that to him, and then he called me back, and then he was like, I got everything I need, and he called back with the approval and sent it over to me on the SBA. But by the time I made it home that night, it had generated. He told me that the system generated the fact that I had too many applications, and it wasn't someone specifically that shut it down. He said the system itself kicked it out because of the other application. And then that's when I called someone and talked to him, and I said, well, and the lady told me, she said, yeah, they really should consider your correct information that when you do the reconsideration. She said, because you were approved and you were working with a lender. and you were approved. So she said, I don't see no reason that they wouldn't consider that. Like, you know, look at all the information that you have and reconsider. But I just haven't heard anything from her. So I was just really trying to get more information on what do I do to maybe follow up, or other than that. And I know, like you said, it's a process, because like you say, some people got it within weeks or within a couple of, within a couple of days. And then I got approved actually that day when I did do it the right way. But given the consideration that I had other application in, I got kicked out. And like you said, I had got approved for the max actually. And it was just like, well, man, what? But then I understood why. Like you said, the red flag should have been kicked up. But I got it now. Like I said, maybe I just need a little bit more help, maybe writing my reconsideration letter, because I'm pretty sure I probably didn't do a very good job of that.
But you're saying that you submitted a reconsideration letter, but you haven't received a response from it.
No, the response was like a generated thing that says, okay, thank you for your reconsideration letter. We'll get back. You're in order, right, or whatever.
So that means that they haven't even made a decision on that yet. So if you received help with that, and someone with the SBA or someone else helped you prepare that, then you should probably wait until you receive a decision on that. So if they told you you were in queue or there's a certain number, there may be a way that you can check through customer service, through their helpline, to see, like, what the wait period is estimated to be. But if you continue to send things, especially send different things, then it's just going to be the same as you submitting duplicate applications.
Yep. That's why I haven't sent anything else. I just was like, well, let me make sure I talk to someone else that's been successful with it and just hear what they have to say, because now I've learned that don't send anything else in, just kind of wait the process out.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it. So, okay. Well, that answers my questions.
Does anyone else have anything for the group or any other questions?
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What's for that EIDL? Like, how long do you have to be in business for that? Like,
you had to have been in business before the start of COVID, because the EIDL is an economic injury disaster loan. So this is a loan that the government has specifically created to help our small businesses recover from losses of income during COVID, because so many industries had to shut down and some people lost work and that kind of stuff. So they have a specific date when you go to the application. I'm not exactly certain what it was, but I want to say it's something like does anyone else know the specific date? I should know this, but for some reason I'm drawing a blank. But there is a specific date that you had to have been in business before, but you do not have to have had an LLC or something like that. You just have to have, when I teach my from ideas to incorporation class, you can be a nonprofit and you can be a for-profit business and qualify for this. From ideas to incorporation class, I teach that you know how you have those side hustles?
mm-hmm.
Those are actually legitimate businesses. And so I teach people to treat those as legitimate businesses, because you are a sole proprietorship. So you can be a sole proprietorships, and sole proprietorships are not required to register with the Secretary of State and incorporate. And so, you could be a young person in college who has a lemonade stand and you are a sole proprietor. And so legally, you are going to be treated like a business. So if your lemonade poisons someone, they can sue you. You just don't have the protection of an LLC that protects your personal assets from liability, but you are still treated as a business person who is out selling a product. And so under the EIDL loan process, if you were someone who, say, washed cars or did other things on the side, that is a sole proprietorship, and you could still qualify for that program.
Okay. So is there somewhere where you can get the guidelines for the EIDL?
Yeah, you get it directly from the SBA's website. When you go in for the application, it'll have all of that information, and it's a really, really straightforward application. But again, because some people aren't comfortable and you may not fully understand all of the things that are being asked, you can ask for assistance through the SBA and do that. Or I actually provided the assistance through my consulting firm so that I could like Frederica was saying, you could that the I didn't have any issues with anyone that I worked with getting almost instant approval for their process. And so, but if you don't do something correctly, or if you don't follow the process, it can impact your approval.
Okay, one last question, because like I did apply to, and I got denied for it, but like I applied under an old business. But no. That's what I did. I applied under two businesses. That's what I did. So
On the same application?
no, separate applications. Because they declined the first one. So I did the same thing Federico did. I didn't know what I was doing, so they declined.
Right. That's why I
applied under another.
Yeah, that's why, to the extent I know that for a lot of these things, like you and I were talking in our consult, a lot of these things are things that I think that people could do themselves, and you're perfectly capable of doing it if you have the information. But if you don't do it properly, there could be a penalty, and that's always why I recommend professional consultations.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, last question, and I'll leave you alone. Hot dog, and I forgot what I was about to say that fast. Okay, go to somebody else. I'll figure it out now. Let me remember what I was going to say.
Well, no one may have a question. This was just a time that I wanted to make sure, I gave to the group just to be helpful.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So when they track it, do they track it via your social security number, or do they track it via EIN number?
It is tracked to the individual. So you do provide your social security number in addition to, if you are an LLC or a corporation, you provide that information for the business as well. But and that's why I asked if you did it on an individual application, or if you did both on one application, or if you did more than one application, because I did hear of sometimes some people who have multiple businesses running into issues by creating more than one application, even though they were for separate businesses.
Okay. That's what I needed to know.
That guy, I think that date may be February the 1st too. Maybe if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was sometime at the beginning of the year.
2019.
Yeah.
2019, February the 1st.
Before the shutdowns and all of that stuff. So you had to have been in operation before a certain date in order to qualify for this program, this specific program. But if you also look, your states should have similar programs under the CARES Act program. And those are very similar to economic injury disaster loans from the SBA.
You said your state should have what now? I'm sorry.
Your state should have a CARES Act fund,
CARES Act.
Okay. Where they're providing similar assistance.
Okay.
If you are in the private group of the women group that I actually organized these trainings for, then I posted when last month we had a brief with our regional small business development center person. Actually, two ladies from the Small Business Development Center for this region. I had them come on and give a similar presentation of programs and stuff that were available under the Small Business Development Center to that group. And they also, in advance, said, hey, next week, the South Carolina CARES Act, which is similar to the economic injury disaster loan, it's going to post. And so I recommend that if that you apply, if you're qualified. At the time, they didn't have a lot of information because it was still unfolding, but the following week it was going to become public. And so I shared that information to that group. And so you can find similar information. I think on my regular Facebook page, I've also posted information about CARES Act funding in Georgia, I think, but I'm not exactly certain when, but you can find this information. This information, you can just Google it for your state. what I found with the state program, at least here in South Carolina, is it is not as easy to apply as the EIDL, as the federal program was. But the funding and the purpose of the funding is fairly similar.
Gotcha.
Mr. Smith, you're on your government contracting path, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing all of this stuff right now.
Good deal. Good deal. Anybody have anything else? Because I also have a 2 o'clock that I have to prepare for, so I won't stay much longer. But you got me while I'm here. Hey, whatever I can do for you. JP, you still on? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can.
I just was trying not to talk and ask you nothing else. I want to give other people a chance to talk because I know me, I have a whole lot of questions.
Please.
No, I was asking. I see Jonathan is on, and I was just gonna let him know that his mayor
Yeah,
has
Bo.
reached out to me, and so if we are able to figure out something that might be useful at some point in time between now and whenever, I might come to Donaldsonville and do some programs. Oh, it looks like he fell off. Looks like he just fell off. So.
Hey, and another thing is me asking these questions and talking about my situation. I'm Mr. Edgar Smith. I'm gonna ask these questions because this is the reason that I don't have what I need to have right now. Because I wasn't able to ask somebody a question. Actually, I did ask them one question, and they hold on a moment. They decided they were gonna help me, and that never worked out. So that's why I went ahead and tried it on my own. I was like, well, hey, I'll just go ahead and do it myself. And yeah, I failed the first time, but I didn't give up because the second time I did it again and I did get approved. So, but I just had the wrong applications in. So the first time I did go wrong. But, so some of the stuff when he was talking about a lot of the stuff in the presentation, I knew hearing him talk about it, but I knew because I made mistakes and actually went through the process of making mistakes. So I was able to understand better what he was talking about because I'm like, well, I made those mistakes. I actually started to understand it and to really know how to do it. So, I mean, I know how to do it as far as I know how to do it. I'm not a professional, but when you make mistakes, I mean, you learn. But I guess I'm just kind of paying for it right now, on the waiting process. But you gotta ask questions. You don't ask questions, and you don't learn.
Empty mouth don't get fed. That's how we say it in the country, man.
And Jonathan, I see you are back. Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know if he's able to hear me, but
Well, Miss McClary, I gotta pull out, but once again I appreciate everything. You've been awesome. You've been amazing. I'm working, and I'll be reaching out to you this weekend, probably.
Okay. I don't work on the weekends.
No. When I say I mean via message. You message me back.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll message you back. That's not a problem. That's not a problem.
All right.
But I am making an exception this weekend because I actually have to help someone with an EIDL application this weekend. So I am doing that this weekend for someone in the Atlanta area. I do have a few things that I'll be finishing up. So I will be available, but I thought you were talking about like booking a consult or something.
No. I got to get it all together before I book one of those.
Okay.
I got you though.
Well, I'm like it. I really appreciate all the information because
Enrico, now you know,
Yes. What?
you know,
What I know.
we supposed to be in the new stuff.
Yeah, but it's not this. I didn't. I never talked to you about this because actually I didn't know about it for
I
a long
know,
time. Yeah, I didn't know
I
about it
know.
for a
So I
long
didn't know you
time.
were having issues.
Yeah, and I didn't know about it. Like when I did, the way I heard about it was one of the guys at the job where like at the shop. He has a lady that went through all of his stuff, and he was like, we were sitting there one day, and he like, oh, my phone just beat. I was like, what? He was like, she said, check my bank account, and he showed me a bank account. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. He was like, yep, she did everything for me, but they
Mm-hmm.
work together. Like they have a trucking company, they work together. And I'm like, so he was like, yeah, look, let me give you information. Call up, blah blah blah. She called me, and she actually that's how I ended up doing it right. Like she kind of walked me through it, but I had already did it wrong.
Right.
So, but I was like, man, I didn't know anything about that. But when I did see it, I was like, well, I know I can apply for that because I've been in business since 2015, 2015. And then I had all my documents, and she was just like telling me, explaining to me how what this does is really make you keep your business in track how it's supposed to. You keep your books and you keep everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. She's like, that's what you want. You want your business kept everything in order, everything kept right, all your books, and it just keeps up with everything. And I'm like, okay. And fortunately, I had everything like that they asked for. I had everything they needed. I even did that. What you told me that is it done and
Yeah, the Duns and
done
Bradstreet number and all of
done and
that stuff.
Bradstreet number. Yeah, I had all that. I mean, I didn't have to send that to him for all this other stuff, but I had it.
No, that's just to help you as you get, progress in your business. You want to be able to build business credit so that you can get unsecured financing for your business needs and that kind of stuff. So you got to
Mhm.
start doing all of that stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, whenever you're available, I know. Like I said, you're busy, so it's gonna be. I have to make time when you're ready to make time, because I'm always ready.
There you go. Don't make me talk.
Although I'm in Germany right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't make me talk crazy to you on this phone in front of these people because you already know that you can call me anytime.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know that, but you're busy. I understand that too. I have to respect your time. I understand that. I understand. I know I can call you, but hey, you are a very needed and wanted person all over. You already know that. So therefore, I have to kind of, I tried to get it together. So now maybe I'm gonna have to reach out to you to get it right, to get it straight.
Okay. And Jonathan, I don't know if you can hear me because I know I haven't heard your audio yet, but I see that you're still on. What I was saying before you dropped off was that your mayor, um, Mr. Johnson, has been in contact with me a couple of times, and so and has asked for my help and support on things. And so I may be at some point, I don't know when and don't know exactly what, but putting together some stuff to try to bring some programming to Donaldsonville. But I also want to help him, you know, in his quest to improve the community in other ways. And so I was looking at people. I think he needs a strong coalition around him. So if you hear me and you're interested, I know that you guys already support him and promote and do other stuff. But if y'all are really interested in to forming some kind of group to move policies and help with positive progress, then inbox me because I want to help him form a real community action group. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my time. I thank you so much um, for joining today. And I hope that it was beneficial. You guys have the slides. You have contact information for Mr. Anderson. Should you have questions about the programs that he discussed at the SBA, this is a nationwide program, even though he is located in South Carolina. And if he can't help you and needs to direct you to your local SBA's office, I'm certain that they can help you find out the points of contact for that office. We will offer continuous programming and training and resources to small businesses through the year. So thanks, and I'll talk to you you guys soon.
Thank you.